June the 14th, 2022, and back for another episode of the kind of evergreen show, if you will, where we cover things that don't necessarily expire, and we're glad that you are listening to us. And if you're hearing us for the first time, make sure you subscribe on all podcast platforms. Check out our website, 3countthursday.com. You'll find our merchandise, our YouTube, and everything else 3CT related over there. We appreciate your support. As always, we have Tim on the show this week. Tim, how we doing?
I'm good.
All right.
Ready to rock.
All right, we have Ryan with us. Was unable to be with us on Thursday, but he's with us today. Ryan, how we doing?
Oh, well, it's a wonderful Tuesday, and I'm so glad you've tuned in to our Whitey Ford Sings the Blues Everlast podcast.
It's one of those things are happening, and on loan from the Take 3 Wrestling podcast, the two real important people from that podcast. We have Joe. Mike will be hopping in at some point here, but Joe, how we doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. I was just thinking how I should have a secondary character for like some podcast where I wear a mask and I'm a luchador and I'm like El Hijo del Homo Gringo.
I mean, technically speaking, it would kind of be like your third character because you have a second character, but I don't think we really talk about him, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yes,
you know, you know. Stealing a line from Tim's podcast, but for a whole different reason. Now for this week's show, we were originally only going to have like two topics. We were going to talk about what makes a wrestling icon, and is it fair to kind of wash away a wrestler's career based on things that happen out of the ring. But there was a topic that we didn't get to on Thursday night's live show that like is kind of evergreen, at least for the next 4 to 9 months, depending on which doctor you listen to on Twitter. And it's a little bit time appropriate right now. But of course, Cody Rhodes, we know he is had the torn pec going into Hell in a Cell last week, and he is going to be out indefinitely. We know he's having surgery. So what's up? There's Big Mac. So we'll start with this one. Like how if you're holding the book, if you're writing the show, if you're making the decisions, how would you handle Cody's absence and return? And does anybody want to kick us off?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I'm the guest.
Go ahead, Joe.
There we go. All right. Well, I like that. That was the easiest argument I've ever won.
Well, I'm not a tool like EJ. You know, I'm a friendly host.
That is correct. You are Casper, the friendly host. I appreciate that. He only pretends to be white. Anyway, so here's what I would do. First of all, I think that Cody needs to be still on TV on a weekly basis. I feel like you can't lose that momentum. Now, I don't need him in the arena. I don't need him coming out and doing his Republican National Convention entrance every single week. Like, I don't need that. But give me a 5-minute video every week. You've got 3 hours worth of Raw. Give me a 5-minute video every week with the roads to his recovery. You know, let's see him in the gym working on whatever, trying to not tear his pec again. Let's see him like in his kitchen and Brandy's just in the background cutting up carrots. Let's see his real life, and because that's what he's got going for him right now. He is kind of like an everyman. He's got that same vibe that his dad had, which is part of the big thing that his character has going. So I think for him, for this time, you just have him come in, right, baby girl? You just have him come in with these videos, and we just get to continue seeing his face so he stays relevant. Because right now, he's actually in the perfect position. He doesn't need to do anything for the next 6 months. He can be, like, injured right now. I almost think that if he wasn't injured, the next 6 months could have potentially been detrimental to the place that I think we deserve to get to, which is him winning the Royal Rumble and him winning the world title at WrestleMania. That's where I think this all needs to go. And I actually feel like in a weird sort of way, being injured for 5 to 6 months helps us get there. Because I don't know what you were going to do with him. Like, I didn't want him winning Money in the Bank. I want him winning the Royal Rumble. I want him having his WrestleMania moment. I want all of that. So I feel like the road would have been more complicated if he didn't get to take 6 months off. So I almost think there's a blessing in disguise.
So he's beating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania?
Yes.
You're out of your fucking mind.
No, that's what I think is happening.
So he wants to bring back early 2000 Randy News Network,
Yes.
where we're doing recovery bits like we did every fucking Monday night on Raw. That was kind of a dumpster fire. I'll let you guys discuss while I'm getting my daughter a drink, and then I'll come back and finish.
All right, sounds good. Ryan or Tim, who wants to go?
Go ahead, Ryan.
Man, I love what Joe has to say. Joe, it's a pleasure. It's, I think, the first time we've shared a podcast together. But
Maybe
it is a blessing in disguise. I think he hit a home run there. Not often do you get to debut a superstar as hot as Cody Rhodes twice, and the WWE is going to get to do that when he comes back. However, where I will differ from Joe is to do that successfully, you need to keep Cody Rhodes off television a little bit. I'm not saying keep him off air for the next 6 months, but I don't need to see Cody and Rhodes to Crossroads or whatever the hell his old show was on Raw every week. I don't need to see him every single week. Maybe you can do. I don't know. I actually don't care. What was the question again?
Perfect. How would you handle Cody's absence and return?
Oh, well, he wasn't there like 3 months ago, right? So just go back to what you were doing then. Bring Brock Lesnar back. Take some bitches to Suplex City. When Cody's ready, he'll come back.
All right, there you go.
But think of the pop when Cody comes back again. You get to again debut him once again. That you can't ask for that. That is the blessing in disguise there.
I just hope, and Tim, I'll get to yours. And I just had this thought when Ryan was saying that with what Joe said. I just hope that they do the YouTube Beautiful Day montage that they did for Triple H leading to that return.
Does Creed have any songs out in the last year?
No, it's got to be YouTube Beautiful Day. It has to parallel. It's got to parallel his wrestling dad, Triple H. Tim, go ahead. How would you handle Cody's absence and return?
So, being the largest stakeholder of the nightmare narcotic that is Cody Rhodes,
that is true.
I agree with everything that Joe kind of said in regards of him going away, not winning Money in the Bank, winning the Royal Rumble, and beating Roman Reigns. However, there's one problem with that, and that's Roman Reigns. Like,
He ain't lying.
To me, Cody can be the guy who does it, but it's got to make like the most perfect of perfect sense to end Roman's God run, especially now that he may only be on TV 4 times between now and then.
Yeah.
He'll be at SummerSlam. There's rumor he's not even going to be at Money in the Bank.
I've heard that rumor.
So Clash at the Castle, he'll obviously be there because he's got to fight Drew McIntyre and win. He's going to get to SummerSlam. Then where? Is he showing up at Survivor Series? Survivor Series is all about brand supremacy. Are they gonna clone Roman Reigns and have Roman Reigns versus Roman Reigns, Raw champion versus SmackDown champion?
He just walks out, sits in the middle of the ring, and goes, "Yes."
Or is Survivor Series a place where the best representative from Raw and the best representative from SmackDown face off, and the winner faces Roman Reigns at day 1, day 2? Or what? The Royal Rumble?
Can we just have Roman during the entirety of Survivor Series sitting on the top of the stage and like
Hold on,
throne?
At the head of a table? Yes.
Yeah, like Shang-Chi or whatever the hell his name was in Mortal Kombat. Like he's literally just sitting there.
Shang Tsung,
Yeah, you go, just watching all the fights
sitting
the
there.
whole night. He's like, impress me, bitches.
Ryan, what was the question?
I'd love to go back and talk about the Survivor Series. I would love to see that. That is the most Roman Reigns thing possible. Come out there and arrogantly say, I can't fight myself. I'm the dual champion and sit in the ring for 5 minutes. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Give me a Roman Reigns promo to close Survivor Series. It's more compelling than whatever they're giving us at Survivor Series to close the show.
Yourself.
I guess I'm gonna be the asshole then.
Well, let me not be the asshole first, and then we'll let you be the asshole.
Go ahead,
I'm kind of with Joe. I'm kind of with Tim here. I don't think you necessarily need to have like a Cody training or Cody, massaging his pec on TV every Monday night.
He obviously has people for that. He's not gonna.
Well, I mean, obviously,
he's not gonna rub his titty on television.
I know he was rubbing it on Raw though.
He has Brandy and Baby Liberty and any other indentured servant that the Rhodes family can hire in Atlanta.
But here's what I would do.
Are you suggesting that Brandy Rhodes is a fine purple titty rubber?
I'm assuming that she could rub a nice, fine purple titty.
That's fair. What I would do is like we just had a show on the WWE YouTube that made Rhodes to the Top look like Shakespearean theater with that Carmella and Corey bullshit. Make the Rhodes to Royal Rumble or whatever you want to call it a YouTube segment every week. So you could air a little bit of it, coming back or going to commercial or whatever to plug it. But I don't think you necessarily need to show Cody on TV every week. But you utilize your social media, utilize the YouTube page. It's something that they've already been used to with the reality shows. So it's not something they're not used to having TV cameras in their lives. So that's what I would do. And then yes, I would have him win the Royal Rumble. I would have him get his WrestleMania moment. The tricky part there is going to be like how do you deal with the Roman thing, because there's still the rumors about The Rock and all of that. How are you going to, is he maybe just he's the guy that brings the Winged Eagle back into the mix away apart from the undisputed Universal Galactic Championship or whatever they're going to do with what Roman's carrying. There's a long time between now and then that I think you can find creative ways to get Cody his WrestleMania moment, but also have Roman Reigns have his still on the Sunday night show. But Big Mac, you said you're going to be the asshole, so we'll let you do what you do so well.
Hell yeah, that's what I like to hear. All right. Obviously, Cody, T's and P's, buddy. Hope you're recovering well. It was announced Thursday that Brandy said that surgery went well. So T's and P's to the Roadster. Yeah, I wouldn't put him on TV. I would let him simmer for a couple months. Maybe do a video package around Survivor Series of him starting the rehabilitation program, just so people know that he's still there. To kind of give away the fact that he's going to win the Royal Rumble. But I guess here's where I become the asshole. Drew McIntyre walks out of Money in the Bank with the briefcase, by the way.
Okay.
See, I told you I'm going to be an asshole, and here's how
I'm.
But Tim, he's a warrior.
Yeah, but he's going to do it at Clash of the Castle. It's Bob Lashley.
No. Bobby's in a feud with Austin Theory. Theory of relativity.
Yeah, until Cena shows back up in a couple of weeks.
What I'm getting at, again, because I'm going to play the role of being an asshole, why would the Scottish guy not win the title at the show in Scotland? Drew McIntyre walks out of Money in the Bank with the title, or with the briefcase, cashes in for only the WWE Championship, because the loophole is going to be that he can fight for one of the two titles, not both. This is the way that you split the titles up. Drew McIntyre gets the country roar, the same way that Mustafa Ali should have gotten the hometown cheer whenever he should have won the U.S. title Sunday at Hell in a Cell. He being Drew McIntyre, holds the WWE Championship, proceeds to lose to Roman Reigns in a non-title champions clash at Survivor Series. Roman gets the win back, obviously, building to Roman versus The Rock. Cody wins Royal Rumble. Cody then beats Drew McIntyre on night number 1's main event. And the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, we get the return of the glorious Winged Eagle Heavyweight Championship of the world.
All right.
Asshole complete.
I mean, that wasn't as far asshole-ish as I thought you were gonna go. So I'm
as Ernest would have, because he would have put like fucking.
Can somebody let Big Mac know you don't go over in your hometown?
Thank you.
It's his country, though. It's not his hometown.
Same
So
difference.
Fucking country.
It's a big city.
It's a big city.
Okay, here's the thing. He's not losing at that show at all. It's just, is he going to win a title at that show?
He can beat Roman and not win the title.
Seth did it. Seth did it at the Royal Rumble.
I just truly believe that that's how we get one of the two titles off of Roman, so we don't have to have an interim title tournament bracket due to inactivity.
I mean, you're not gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Jack Bunny's WWE. My bad.
The 30-day rule only applies to people not named Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns, and probably some others.
It's a title reign, not a menstrual cycle.
Jeez.
30 days. Defend it once a year.
All right.
WrestleMania.
Any other thoughts on Cody's time away before we kind of stay on the Cody train a little bit?
Turn somebody's face and push him to the moon.
Okay, there you go.
Kevin Owens.
I mean, he could. I do love Kevin as a heel, but he's also great as a face. Okay, so this we're kind of staying in the Cody realm a little bit because it's kind of what spawned this topic a bit. The match last Sunday at the Hell in a Cell with the torn pec and everything really was one of the gutsiest performances that we've seen in a long time, maybe ever. To go out and put nearly 25 minutes of hard work when clearly the guy's got to be in tremendous pain. Tim, I think you in our group text kind of labeled Cody as like labeled the match, the performance as like iconic or something, and it kind of spawned this topic of like what makes a wrestling icon. Like I don't know, like you can have good wrestlers, great wrestlers, good superstars, great superstars. You can even have all-time superstars, but then I feel like there's certain guys who are probably more in a different realm, an icon realm.
Just shadow realm. Wow, this took a turn.
Like how do you quantify a wrestling icon? Tim, I'll lead it to you first since you kind of spearheaded the topic.
You have to be involved in a moment or moments that will forever transcend wrestling. Like this is the equivalent of like the flu game. This is like people will remember the night, just like people remember the night that Kimona won a lay a dance atop the ECW arena. People will also remember the night that Cody Rhodes wrestled with a torn pec for 25 minutes in Hell in a Cell. And it wasn't even in like a mediocre Hell in a Cell too.
No.
Like it's one of the better PG Money in the Banks, or not Money in the Banks, Hell in a Cells that they've done. Once you start like thinking about it though, or at least when I started to think about it, it's hard to kind of define the icon status. It's like you just know it when you see it. When it comes up, it's natural to say that. Not everybody fits into that space, but also too, I think Cody's there.
Yeah, I mean, and even if you're somebody who doesn't want to necessarily say like Cody is a WWE icon, I think after, and I think because when he does return, I think we do see some sort of a world title reign, whether it's he gets one or both of the Galactic Championships, or he does bring the Winged Eagle back. I think there's going to be some sort of major title run in this version of Cody back in the WWE. But like that so even if you don't want to put him in that space, or at least not put him there yet, the moment, the match itself, what he did on Sunday, I think puts at the very least that match in the iconic realm. It's one of those matches that you can talk about forever. If podcasts and watch-alongs and thing are still going to be a thing in 15 years, it's somebody's going to do a watch-along for that time that Cody Rhodes wrestled with a purple titty. It was just a unbelievable match and performance. And like, Ryan, I'll lead to you next, but I know we were watching the show together, and like so many points during that match, we're sitting there going like how the hell is this guy doing that? Like everything looked painful. Like I'm sitting there imagining. I've never torn my pec. I'm not even sure I have a pec. I have fat man titties. I'm not sure I have pecs. But like I'm only trying to imagine what that feels like. And there's Joe's titty. If you want to see Joe's titty, patreon.com/3count Thursday. You will get the video version of this podcast.
Don't do it to yourself.
Do it. Just send us money, please.
Next week.
But yeah, it just, man, the match, the moment, everything, definitely is iconic in and of itself. Ryan, your thoughts on what makes a wrestling icon? What was the match iconic? Any of that?
Yeah, I think it's really to the WWE and their job to sell us on the iconic status of Cody Rhodes. When you think of Hell in a Cell and you think of the word iconic, my mind goes to Mick Foley flying off the Hell in a Cell. That's an iconic moment. The WWE needs to rehash and re-show this moment enough times that it lives in our head when we think of Hell in a Cell. When I think of iconic moments, you think of Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin with the blood trickling down his face. That's that iconic moment. It's really to the WWE to repackage that repeatedly and beat it into our heads that that's an iconic moment. Is Cody Rhodes a WWE icon right now? I'd say he's on the cusp of something really big. The moment and match itself will go down as an iconic match, and it'll be, I think, his centerpiece match. The Cody Rhodes is, I don't want to say coming out part. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but that's the one that everybody can say, this is Cody Rhodes in the WWE in this run. He came back and he is off the charts. Lump him with the icon just yet.
All right. Mike and Joe, your guys' thoughts on wrestling icons.
You want to go first?
Well, so here's one thing that I was thinking, and I thought this was kind of...
That's yes.
Yeah, that was a yes. And it's kind of interesting, right? Iconic moments in wrestling, a lot of times, are based in that was real. And the scary thing about that is sometimes it is, oh, this guy's out there wrestling with a broken arm. It's Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon at King of the Ring 2000. 2001. That's iconic because
the best in the world.
He said it.
He said it.
Tim, he said it.
That's the rule.
Look, I don't make the I mean, I kind of make the rules, but like he said it.
We all know what the rules are.
I mean, it just. I know it hurts you, Tim, but.
Shane McMahon.
All right, Joe.
I can't wait till he dies and we pull it off that board.
God. Wow.
My nipples are hard.
Dark turn.
Tim,
but
all right,
exactly,
Joe.
like Kurt Angle and he who should not be named.
Oh no! Once you say it, you only get it once.
Say it once, they won't play it again.
Oh,
You
okay.
can use his name now.
Okay. So like Kurt and Shane.
Before it goes any further, Tim, that's on me. I didn't give him the full
No,
rundown.
It's fine.
He didn't warn him.
That's on me.
We didn't give Joe the Iggy.
It's okay. Now you know.
So like, but think about that. That took Kurt Angle trying to literally throw Shane McMahon through glass windows that would not break. That is why that match is iconic, because we watched a man almost get killed.
Oof. Yeah.
Mick Foley going off of the Hell in a Cell. That whole Hell in a Cell match with him and Undertaker from '98 is an iconic match. We thought we saw Mick Foley die like 3 times.
At least
He may have
twice.
Actually twice. Yeah. Like he was gone at least one of those times. That is why that match is iconic. Think about that. Honestly, what's iconic? The Shockmaster is iconic. You know, everyone who's a big wrestling fan more or less knows that moment. That's an iconic moment. Again, it was real. That wasn't supposed to happen the way it happened, but then it did. So I'm just thinking it's interesting because in a lot of ways it's like, yeah, Cody had an iconic moment. It took him having to tear his pec muscle and still be willing to go out there. And I've heard, you know, you can't make it worse. That's that injury. I've heard that on a bunch of podcasts this week. It's like, you can't do it any worse than it already is, so you might as well just kind of grin and bear it through the pain. And that sucks, you know? So, like, it took him doing that for that to be iconic. That match would have been incredible no matter what. It probably would have still been one of the best matches of the year, hands down, because everything that Cody and Seth have been doing, to me, has been in that stratosphere of best matches of the year. So this would have gone there, but it wouldn't have been iconic.
Right.
This made it iconic. The real injury, the fact that you're watching
Peyton Royce and Jesse McKay.
Yes,
No,
yes, it did.
that's too conic.
The two conics. Like this made it stand out into that next level. Yeah, no, but honestly, it really did, because now you're watching that match, and every time Seth does something like anywhere near the pec or the arm, you're just like, oh dear God. And
Yeah.
you would like it's different.
You
Cody
cringe, you
doesn't even have
wince,
to
you
sell it.
feel it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, Cody doesn't even have to sell it. His body's selling
Yeah.
it for him. You're wincing.
Yeah,
every
that's
time something
just
happens.
nature at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
So to piggyback off of the iconic moments being real life things, obviously the pipe bomb that punk, the promo, like that was kind of work shooty, so it kind of had the real life vibe. You know, the iconic moment of Phil waving goodbye and kissing goodbye Vince McMahon at Money in the Bank because he was going away because of his contract dispute, like kind of real life. The only ones that I don't feel like from an iconic moment that like, oh, the Austin bleeding against Brett. That's an iconic moment, but it wasn't like a real life thing. Like, yeah, he was bleeding in the match, but just the visual is iconic. The thing I guess that makes it more or less iconic for me and icons in wrestling, it's not just the moments, but it's how the moments are received and how the moments are captured. Hogan slamming Andre is an iconic moment, and I think it was part of the iconic build of Hulk Hogan's eventual heel turn in WCW. I also believe that that's a thing. If the fans don't react as intensely by throwing trash at Bash at the Beach, I think the NWO is still big, but I think it got to that next level because the fans literally in the state of Florida somehow found a way to throw more trash at Hulk Hogan that night than they do in the swamps over down in Waxahachie. It's okay, I can say that I live in Florida. That's where I think it's the iconic moments. It also has to be iconic because of the fan reaction, and the fan has to buy into whatever it is, real storyline. Here's the thing: we all have officially bought into the MJF promo on AEW. Okay, Tim, I get it. Here's the thing: the fan base of AEW is sitting here going, I don't know if it's blurred lines, if it's this, if it's that. The way that, so at the end of the day, people, not all people,
Right, the greater majority.
The AEW stands marks on Twitter are believing that it could be work, it could be shoot, et cetera, et cetera.
The problem was they weren't alive for Brian Pillman. They weren't alive for the Vince Russo wearing a Giants jersey. They weren't alive for us to be told that anything that happens on TV is fake.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I'm saying personally, I still think that this is now turned into a giant work and everybody's being worked. And by the way, fuck you, Tony, for working your fans out of a fucking meet and greet with the guy to get your storyline over more. GF all the way. Why?
I don't think people paid specifically for MJF.
I think depending on who else was listed in that time slot, you'd have a lot of people that were lined up in that MJF line for him to call them turkey tits.
Oh my God, turkey tits.
Thank you. No, I think when it comes to the iconic moments and the icons of wrestling, there has to be that, I'm not going to say gray area because it's not really gray anymore because we see, okay, this guy's a heel, but when he goes home, he's actually like a decent human being because of people's things on social media and stuff like that. I think the moment has to be preserved in time correctly and repackaged. The Cody Rhodes taking his jacket off and his pec being the color of Barney the Purple Dinosaur. Captured the right way, presented the right way. That's an iconic moment. It makes that match so much better. Mick Foley sitting in the corner with his tooth hanging out of his nose makes that match iconic. Yes, the car crash itself is iconic, but all of these had that picture that oh my God, let me take this photo, and you could frame it. Shane McMahon laying on the ground after being heaved through the glass for the fourth straight time and literally looking like he's dead. The photo. Hogan having Andre up with all the flashbulbs going off. It's the picture moment that makes it iconic, not the whole thing. Like the Mick Foley Undertaker match. If that match would have been throw him off the top, throw him through the roof, tombstone match over, we'd be talking about, oh my God, Mick Foley's dead. Like that match, it wasn't a 5-star classic. It was a fucking car crash. But it was iconic because you have that moment that you see Mick Foley is pictured in the corner, breathing through his mouth with his tooth hanging out of his nose. Like, iconic moments are captured in photography, not as much film.
Yeah, it's like you got to look at this photograph. Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
You're such a scumbag.
Just saying.
You're such fuck Nickelback. Scumbag.
Fuck.
Ridiculous.
I
think Tim might have said it best. Like, you just know it's iconic. Like, I don't think you can really put a stamp on it because the Mick Foley iconic moment is very different than Hogan slamming Andre. Like, you just, as a wrestling fan, you just look at each other and say, isn't it iconic, don't you think?
Ridiculous.
I could be playing Destiny right now. I could literally be shooting fake. I could be shooting little billies on the internet right now.
Even when
virtually.
Mark's not here, he's here.
Are you serious?
But
Pain.
yeah.
Has there ever been an iconic War Games match?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna scream.
War games! War games! War games! War games!
Or Joe, what do they call it in AEW?
Oh, you mean blood and guts?
Blood and guts!
Never mind.
Yeah.
I can't wait till 3CT just gets caught in cancel culture and we're all done for. I can't wait.
I mean,
hey, you all have a home on the Take 3 Wrestling podcast, but we don't give a fuck about cancel culture.
That's true. That I've been there. That is true.
We've said some horrible shit.
We've said some bad stuff over there.
Hey, Chris Bowflex called. Wanted me to say hello.
There was that one week where I was like, "Who's your Mount Rushmore of wrestlers who have killed people?"
Yep, yeah, you did. That is a thing that you said. That is a thing
that was
that
a
you
thing
said.
I said.
That was a thing.
That's a
that
great
you said.
topic for a road trip, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't say it into a mic.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you put behind the paywall, and then probably still don't publish it. All right. Well, you know what? We actually somehow stumbled into a good segue. Well, we'll call it a segue. I don't know if the way we got here is good or the thing that even necessarily that we're going to talk about is good. But
Is this why you put it behind the paywall?
This was kind of brought on by a series of tweets sent out by Mayor Isaac Yankem over the past few weeks, where he's just continuing to double down on the fact that he's a piece of human garbage. But there's been other instances over the course of wrestling history where, you know, a wrestler's in-ring career, either gets looked at in a more negative light or basically, by most accounts, gets kind of whitewashed from, an online, video library. Brought, you know, whether it's on Peacock or the WWE Network.
Look at you.
But like the question here is like, is it fair to wash a wrestler's wrestling career in the ring, based on like out of ring incidents? Now it could be any number of incidents, you know, none of which is really good. You know, we're not talking about, you know, John Cena's work with Make-A-Wish here. We're obviously talking about unfortunate out-of-ring incidents. So, does anybody want to lead us off? Like, Tim, go ahead.
So, like, I'm not saying, like, that level of bad, but let's say John Cena goes the route of Mayor Kane.
Okay.
And he comes out as not comes out, but staunch libertarian, very much anti-mask, anti-vax, pro-gun, pro-life, just super conservative, super Cena.
I'm just imagining him coming out. He's like, "Mom, Dad, I got something to tell you. I'm a Republican."
From Massachusetts?
Oh, just that I feel like is a hilarious like SNL skit, right there.
What did I miss?
A really great segue, to be perfectly honest. Actually, that was a good segue.
But yeah, Mike, we're
just segue.
we're discussing if it's fair to wash a wrestler's in-ring career based on out-of-ring incidents, such as, you know, this was brought on by Mayor Fake Diesel, running his mouth about gun violence, and we've seen him with anti-vax things and stuff like that. Like, you know, I am definitely not a Glenn Jacobs guy.
But is it okay?
Is it okay to be a Kane fan, but hate Glenn Jacobs?
Okay. All right. Here's where I'm going to go with. First off, CT is a hell of a drug, kind of like cocaine. I think Mayor brain damage, probably got fucked up in the head.
Mayor Unabomb.
Yeah, he got bombed. The way I look at it, when it comes to, you know, basically whitewashing people's careers, I think it's okay to be a Kane fan. I don't think it's good to be a Glenn Jacobs fan. Just because Glenn Jacobs played the role doesn't mean you're a Glenn Jacobs fan. You love the character Kane. I think that's when someone's playing a character, I don't necessarily know that I am the one that's going to sit here and say you can't be a fan of what they did on television from the time that you were 8 to the time that you were 20. But now that they are now Glenn Jacobs, mayor of Knox County, being a douchebag, you know, if you don't agree with his stance, feel free to let him know about it on Twitter. Feel free to defend why you think what he's saying is moronic and outlandish. That's a good thing about this country. You won't get shot for telling someone that you think they're wrong. I look at it from the standpoint also. I think every crime or everything that a wrestler is accused of has to be taken differently depending on the amount of evidence against them. There are plenty of people, and I'm going to speak very frankly about the Me Too movement, that, you know, this guy's a scumbag, and there's a ton of receipts on why this person is a scumbag. Cancel that motherfucker. I don't care what character he plays, because the character that he plays is now putting other people at risk. Glenn Jacobs, as a performer 20 years ago, may have felt that way, but guess what? When he was on TV, it was, here's some pyro, I'm going to go choke slam somebody, I'm going to get hit in the head with a fucking chair, I'm going to get CTE, and then when I retire, I'm going to make dumb decisions. You're not putting anybody at risk because of his political party or his stance on any of this stuff in the locker room. Guys that are assaulting people sexually, physically, etc., manipulation, you know, stuff like that. Like, yeah, there's whitewash those motherfuckers. Get them out of here. Get them out of here quick, too, because wrestling as a community is better without them. I don't care what character they play. I would much rather not have that character ever show up ever again on a wrestling promotion that I'm watching. So that makes that the other people that, you know, are now going to get said person's TV time or said person's, you know, work schedule, the time to get better in ring and giving that person a shot because now they feel comfortable showing up and not worrying about what's going to happen to them in the backstage area.
Agreed. Absolutely. Yeah. There's different levels. I agree.
Right.
Tim, go.
Someone? Bueller?
Can I go?
Go.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Okay. So my thing, and I can liken this even to cinema, you know, to movies. Like you have Woody Allen, Roman Polanski. You know, there are plenty of directors who have done some horrible shit. And to me, you know, Bill Cosby. Like, I hate to go down that route, but Bill Cosby, you can't watch The Cosby Show now. You can't find that. It's not streaming anywhere.
Oh, dude, it's still, I forget what network. There's still a network that airs it, like, on the regular. And I'm like, how is this?
Are you serious?
Yeah, like, how is this a thing?
I'm shocked by that because last I looked, it wasn't, like, streaming anywhere or anything. Like, it wasn't
it's on
easy to find.
WJELLO.
Jesus.
You put the foot in the thing. So,
Way out of line. Way out of line.
I feel like once something happens, I understand no longer celebrating the person. And I understand no longer having them do more, like doing future stuff. Like Mike was saying, like, I don't want Kane now showing up on Raw to be Kane for, you know, Raw Legends night.
No.
You know?
Get him the fuck out.
Right, get him the fuck out of here. I'm good on you at this point. I don't need WWE to pretend that Kane never existed. You know? There's no good, like, he doesn't need to go in the Hall of Fame now anytime soon.
He's already in the Hall.
Is he really?
He went in the year before The Undertaker.
He went in pandemic year.
So, okay, that's even better then. We've already put him in the Hall of Fame. I don't need him removed from the Hall of Fame, but now I don't need to worry about in the next 5 years that they're going to do a video package about him celebrating his career. That's where I'm at with that. I don't think you need to celebrate further. Like, I don't have a problem watching Chris Benoit matches. I don't think Chris Benoit is ever going in the Hall of Fame, nor do I think he deserves to at this point.
It was a little rough at the beginning, I'm not going to lie.
Right, exactly. Like, that was it. By me, honestly, it was a little rough watching Eddie Guerrero matches at first.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Eddie's was different because Eddie just unfortunately lost Eddie.
Yeah.
Chris made the really bad decision to do what he did before.
Right.
There's so many different conspiracy theories about this whole fucking thing, but I'm not going.
No,
I'm not staring the fucking barrel of the shotgun.
I'm just saying, like, I get okay, let's no longer celebrate this person. I'll never get. Let's pretend none of it ever happened.
I mean, let's. I guess we can. You guys, obviously, at least Tim knows Chikara and all that stuff and all the alleged problems with one, Mike Quackenbush. And here's the thing, no, really don't want anyone wrestling for him or having him around. But it's like, I go back and watch the old school Chikara stuff, and it's like, that still entertains me, but I don't want to see it anymore if he's the guy booking it, because he made those people feel uncomfortable and took advantage of those people. And it's like kind of scummy, but it's like, again, I'm not going to cancel what he did in the past, no matter how fucked up it is, because at the end of the day, it's one of those things where those people have now fought their battle, and the people that haven't yet, over time, hopefully they feel comfortable enough to come out and fight those battles against those people and tell the world, the wrongs that happened to them. And I think this is more, I guess, where I want to go with this. If you feel like you're being wronged by anybody in the industry, right, wrong, and different, if you have any reason to feel like, oh, I don't want to go work for this company because I'm afraid of this, that, or the other, tell someone. Put it on social media. Let the world fucking know how you feel. Because here's the deal. Either people are going to start investigating it, and they're going to find out that it's real, or you're going to have bookers that are going to come out and go, oh, no, this isn't true, this, that, and the other. And then people are going to stop going to their shows, and we're going to fucking cancel them one way or another.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a great I think that's like a great delineation here is there's I don't think there's one blanket that you can put on this stuff. I mean, when the Last Ride documentary came out, we see Mark from Texas sitting in his living room with the thin lines and the blue lines and the 9 lines and all the lines on every single episode, and we're sitting here, going like, not that I think. Because I think I even like tweeted about it when the documentary came out, and I'm like, you're talking about a 50-some-year-old man who's lived in Texas his whole life, and I'm not trying to generalize all Texans. However, there shouldn't necessarily be a huge shock that a 50-some-year-old dude who's lived in Texas his whole life is a back the blue. 9 lives, thin blue line, all of that apparel.
I personally thought, as a 2-time traveler to the great state of Texas and Dallas, particularly for Mania, I would have thought I would have saw more of that on vehicles and more of that on shirts and stuff like that. Because we didn't just go to the wrestling stuff. We went to a mall. We did some other sightseeing stuff. We went to the Frisco Rough Rider Stadium, which was a couple miles outside of Dallas, stuff like that. So I thought I would have saw more of that stuff. Surprisingly, not as much as I thought. I don't know if you saw as much of that stuff, like the
I mean, were you near cities more? I assume, correct? Or did you spend a lot of time in rural Texas? I feel like you'll see a lot more of that in rural Texas.
I also think it's the part of Texas that it is. I think Dallas is more on the lines of calling people out for being stupid, and we're not in fucking, like you said, we're not in like Waynesville, Texas.
Right, because I mean, here in Pennsylvania, if you go to Pittsburgh, if you go to Philadelphia, you're not going to see as much from the red side. But if you drive through central Pennsylvania in the rural towns, you're going to see a lot more of it. So, but so you can't necessarily apply the same blanket to that, because I can watch an Undertaker match and I can forget that Mark from Texas is a back the blue and all of that.
Undertaker.
Right, sure.
You can get lost in the Undertaker.
You can't
Now he comes out, you just see him as Mark from Texas.
Yeah, you can't necessarily you really can't put what Chris Benoit did out of your mind. Like, you can't, even if you can still watch and enjoy his matches, you still can't put that past him. Ryan or Tim, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't know. I hate the term cancel culture,
Mm-hmm.
and even canceling somebody, because what it really boils down to in my mind is responsibility culture. That we're holding the person responsible for whatever actions, and this is more about like the Speak Out movement and the Me Too movement. These guys did things, and they need to be held responsible. And if part of that is being let go of a contract or removed as an indie wrestling darling or anything like that, then that's what needs to happen. We're not canceling them for the sake of canceling them. We're canceling them because they did something, and we're holding them responsible. So to that aspect, I have no problem cutting out those types of people. And I don't care to watch their product anymore. Do I wish more people aligned with like political views that I align with? Absolutely do. But Aaron Lewis, for instance, there's not many people that love Aaron Lewis the singer. But when Outside from Stain comes on, that's a bop, and I'm going to sing along.
Right.
I'm not going to change the channel because
it's been a while since I've heard that name.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
It has. Thank you. God damn it. Thank you so much. It has been a while. So that song slides on. I'm going to sing it. But I don't like Aaron Lewis the guy, but I'm not going to not listen. I'm not going to go to a Stain concert, but I'm not going to flip the channel when their song comes on either. So I don't know. What was the question? I don't really care, Jim. What was the question again? No, for real.
Is it fair to watch a wrestler's career based on out-of-ring incidents?
Yeah, fuck them.
All right. Tim.
I guess it's all case by case. Like, I've always been the person who has said that, like, separate the art from the artist, try to separate art from artist. Like, musically, I love Kanye West, but boy, is he problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Big problematic. But the music is scandal proof. And I guess it's weighing the sins of the sinners, per se.
I don't want to deviate. Did anybody see the AEW biography episodes that are coming out?
No.
Okay. We can finish this, and if you want to talk about it real quick, 'cause I just saw someone posted a picture of it on Facebook.
I mean the A&E.
Yeah, A&E biography.
I think it's AEW.
No, God.
Oh yeah, you did say AEW. You're talking. You're talking the WWE ones. Yeah. Well, let's. I mean, my last thought on the whole thing is, it's a case by case thing, and really it's kind of where you draw your own lines. Like, I know people who will not listen to Michael Jackson. Like, there's people who will not watch. You're right. Like there's people who will not listen. Watch a movie with Woody Allen. There's people who will not. Listen to a Louis C.K. Stand up anymore. There's people who won't watch a Chris Benoit match. So you have to draw your own line. And yes, there are certainly different levels of bad. There are some that I think we can all universally accept, or at least the majority of people would universally accept as this isn't okay, this isn't proper, and we're not going to continue to let this be a part of our community. And then there's others that are shades of gray. Again, going back to the original, are you a Glenn Jacobs fan? Are you a Kane fan? Are you a Isaac Yank? You know what I mean? Like, where does the personal separate from the on screen? So it's a case by case thing there. So Mike, you said you saw the A&E biography list.
Again, this is just I don't know 100% if these are all of them, But here's what's been, at least partially, I guess, spoiled. Again, I don't know that this is a formal announcement.
Okay.
So here's what we have. We have The Undertaker.
Okay.
Lex Luger.
All right.
Degeneration X.
Okay.
Goldberg.
All right.
Etch. Kurt Angle.
Okay.
The Bella Twins.
All right.
Rey Mysterio.
Okay.
And WrestleMania 1.
I could literally hard pass on every one of those episodes.
I mean, like, I feel like the Undertaker one, we literally just got like a 5-part documentary on the Peacock during the pandemic.
I think I have 2 that I think I would actually be interested in watching. One of them being WrestleMania 1, and the other one being the Lex Luger story, because I want to see how deep they're gonna get with
But
it.
didn't they? Hold on, I gotta look at my.
They tried. WWE was supposed to put out a Lex Luger documentary.
I know that's
on the network. That's exactly what this A&E one is.
But that's the thing. Like, I want to see how deep they're willing to go. Like, if they weren't willing to do it then, were they waiting for him to fucking die? Isn't he still alive? I'm saying, but were they waiting for him to die to put it out?
Right.
I feel like they literally released this in what year was that? 2011. We got the WWE True Story of WrestleMania.
That's WrestleMania 1, yeah.
Like,
oh no, I remember that. I wonder if there's just more stuff that has come out since then.
I suppose
because that is 2011.
This was I got this at the Wyoming Valley Mall in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. On where's the date here?
What I would say is
April the 11th, 2011. I bought this.
Okay, if that was released 2 years ago, I would be like, okay, that's fucking unnecessary. Kind of like an Undertaker one is fucking unnecessary because we just had it with, But I'm actually intrigued by the Edge one a little too, because I want to see how much of the career-ending injury and stuff like that they go into, and what is the difference on why he's able to come back. But Rey Mysterio,
Paul Levesque is the chaperone.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, but I'm good on everything else. I'm good on the Bella Twins. I'm good on Etch. I mean, I like Etch.
And then they gave the 2011 pay-per-view schedule.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Yeah.
Why the hell did I keep a receipt in the DVD case? Like, what was?
Because you're supposed to return it.
What was the purpose of that? Yeah, most of those, like, I mean, the Bella Twins, I feel like we know their story. I feel like we've already
Total Bellas and Total Divas.
Total Bellas, Total Divas, Hall of Fame. They wrote a book.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good on that
They
one.
can write?
Well, I mean, somebody wrote it for them.
Somebody else typed.
Crayons. But yeah, I don't. I'll watch. In DX. How many times can we recycle the DX story?
See, that's the thing. It's like Edge, the WrestleMania 1, and Lex Luger are the ones that I'm like, okay, I'll probably sit down and watch this. But I'm out on Rey Mysterio. I'm out on Goldberg. I'm out on the Kurt Angle one. Just listen to the Kurt Angle show every Sunday.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? I sit here and I talk shit about them, but like an idiot, I know I'm gonna watch at least most of them because I feel the ones that came out last year, Stone Cold and Bret Hart and Roddy Piper and Macho Man, and I knew all of those stories, and I still watch those documentaries. So, I'm an idiot. I'm a mark. I'm going to watch them because
You fucking mark!
All right. Anything else here, gentlemen, before we wrap this one for the week?
Well, I just found out that there's another sound on the soundboard that I don't care for. So,
all righty. Well,
we're 3 for 3. We're 3 for 3 tonight.
For those listening, I do want to remind, I forgot to do this on last Thursday's live show, but there is no live show this week, actually. As we're taking a week off. I am on vacation. Matt is on vacation. So we're giving everybody the week off. So no live show.
Your your arm out of the bullpen is on vacation.
Yeah, we're doing a full week off. There will be new content, new and some old content hitting the feed. So Thursday, we will be dropping an episode that we recorded WrestleMania Sunday, WrestleMania Saturday. WrestleMania Saturday between NXT and night one of WrestleMania. We did some recording there. So look for that to drop on Thursday. And if Big Jim isn't too lazy, I may throw together like a little best of deal from some of our old hot tag episodes. So look out for that on Tuesday of next week. So
just be honest and say that we're all going to get bicep surgery. Like we all tore our pec.
I'm donating my pec to Cody Rhodes.
Just like Cody. Also, Matt Cardona has a torn pec.
Oh, that's right. Was it pec or bicep for him?
I don't know, but same difference. But either way,
I have neither of them.
He caught a dive and he hurt himself. So,
so who has the better home situation now? Nurse Brandy or Nurse? Like for Matt, is it having Chelsea as your nurse or having Brandy as your nurse? Which is better?
I think Brandy is your nurse for the simple fact that with Matt Cardona being home all the time, it's just going to mean that he is going to buy enough toys to build a third toy room in the house. And poor Chelsea is just going to have to get down on her hands and knees and just take it.
That she is.
I'd have to be on my hands and knees and just take it.
All right, let's close up. Joe and Mike, let them know where they can follow you and hear the things that you do so well.
You can follow us at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn. Take 3 Wrestling every Friday morning. It drops. We record Thursday nights, most time after 3CT because Jim is our 4th member. Ernest is an idiot. Go to Earnestly Speaking Media. Follow that on Apple to get the podcast. Feel free to tweet at him, which is EJ Christian 7. Fuck the Heat. Fuck the Rangers because he's not a hockey fan.
That's true.
Tell him that the Mets suck and they're going to collapse. Also call him Snap-on because he's a fucking toolbox. You got anything, Joe?
That edible I took an hour ago really hit like about 20 minutes ago.
We be vibing.
All right. Well, it was always good having you guys. Tim, anything to plug?
Myself, not the tool man across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat if you care. I like TikToks, but I don't do TikToks. So send me your funny TikToks, like my good friend Mike does. Send me all the funny laughy ha-has. If you enjoy what I do here, catch me every week at T&M Shows on Twitter or wherever you get your podcast for viewers or Final Wrestling Place. This season, we are covering the bashes of wrestling. Last week, we covered the Great American Bash. Actually, this comes out after episode 2. So we have covered so far Great American Bash 1996 and Bash at the Beach 1994. So many great things. But after every WWE, AEW, and possibly NXT pay-per-view, we are doing Viewer's Choice, where we tell you what's must-watch, what's must-skip, and who the MVP of each event is, which means we've got Forbidden Door coming up on the 26th. We go live to tape literally like within 30-45 minutes of the show being over. So we pride ourselves on being one of the first to market on that. But catch us over there at T&M Shows on the Twitter machines. I appreciate you. Big Jim, take us home.
All right. You can, of course, follow me at Big Jim Sports. Make sure you follow along with the show at 3 Count Thursday, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, 3countthursday.com. Make sure you are subscribed to all podcast platforms so you'll get that content that is dropping while we are on vacation. And make sure you check out our YouTube as well. And support the show by going to patreon.com/3countthursday and tpublic.com/user/3countthursday and get our merchandise over there. Until next time we talk to you live in a little bit over a week, we hope you stay safe, stay smart, and go for the pin.